Welcome to this new video, where we're going to talk about a big topic in Forza Horizon 6, since we're going to discuss drifting with a steering wheel. Indeed, drifting with a steering wheel in Forza Horizon 6 is much more complicated than drifting with a controller. Well, in any case, it's really completely different. So today, in this video, I'm going to show you all the little tips that simply helped me better understand drifting in Forza Horizon 6, and, quite simply, to get better. That's it. It's really that simple. I know I'm not a pro drifter yet. In this video, I might lose control of the car at times, but that's exactly why it's worth making. Drifting with a steering wheel feels natural, but after using one for so long, we tend to forget how hard it is to learn to drift this way. And we kind of forget all the little tips, all the small things that can really be useful when you're just starting out in the game to get better at this. So today, a little guide video, a quick tutorial with the steering wheel. I hope you'll find the video interesting and that it'll give you a little boost. If that's the case, of course, don't hesitate to leave a like and subscribe for the next videos, because I think I'll make a part 2 to talk about advanced drifting tips. Since once you start drifting well, there are some techniques, like the clutch kick, that can be interesting to use, but I'm not sure it's very interesting for someone who's just starting out. So I'll make a part 2. So make sure to subscribe if you enjoy this kind of video. That way, as soon as it comes out, you'll simply be notified. We're going to start this video with the absolute basics. You still need to set up your game properly. Even if it won't change everything, there are still some things you need to adjust correctly. Go to difficulty settings and turn off traction and stability control, whether you're using a controller or steering wheel. Without disabling them, the car won't slide, so you disable them. Set the steering to simulation. Make sure not to leave it on standard, but really set it to simulation. I recommend going into HUD and gameplay and turning on the drift camera, but it's really down to personal preference. I'll admit, from the third-person drift camera view, I honestly don't like it at all. When I play with a controller, for example, I don't see the point. On the other hand, it's true that when you play with a steering wheel, when you're in cockpit view, the drift camera is helpful because it automatically centers on the vehicle's path. This is especially useful when drifting with a steering wheel in cockpit view because, well, it means you don't have to bother with it. Managing the cameras yourself, and on top of that, with a steering wheel, since usually you don't have a joystick to control the camera, it's really super convenient. Second thing, obviously, you'll need to choose a car that drifts well, or at least has a good base for drifting. For that, you should check out the video I made that's really focused on drift settings, and the drift base in Forza Horizon 6. But to quickly sum it up, you should pick a rear-wheel drive car, preferably one that's fairly large, but not too big either. So go for a compact sedan, a regular sedan, or a large sedan. Those are really the types of cars that will drift better, and aim for cars that are around that size. We're talking about 500 or 600 horsepower, so not overly powerful, but still powerful enough to easily start a drift just with the accelerator, just by losing grip. Basically, thanks to the power. If you go for more, it may be easier to lose grip and harder to control the car, especially as a beginner. And if you don't get enough power, you'll have a car that might be easier to handle, but it'll also just be more complicated to drift with. Actually, to start drifting basically, you should aim for rear-wheel drive, 500 to 600 horsepower and a medium size. That's why I chose the M5 overall, the E60 M5 with the V10, the 2009 model. It's a car that's extremely practical for that. It has the right size, it has good power. Right now, it's completely stock, so really, it's a good car that drifts without changing anything on it. There's no need to tune or upgrade it. And on top of that, it's a car that has another advantage for drifting, which is that the gears are actually pretty long. We're at 150 kilometers an hour, pretty much in third gear, so it's a car with which you can drift through most corners. By staying in a single gear, in second or third, you should be able to drift pretty much anywhere, and that's really cool when you're starting to drift in the game. It saves you from constantly worrying about shifting gears, which gets annoying quickly, especially with paddles like I use. I'll start by showing you something that really helped me in Forza Horizon 6. Especially for learning to control acceleration with the steering wheel. To drift, I went to the Roundabout at the Forza Horizon Festival. It's on the right side of the map. Not the largest or smallest, but a medium-sized one that's really convenient. And what I did, and what I recommend you do at first, is to settle on this roundabout at a speed where the car is almost starting to slide, but not quite yet. So here, with the angle we have, I think we should be able to hit around 100 km/h. Yeah, 92, 93. Somewhere around there, that's where we'll be. So we're going to try to keep this direction to really settle in on this roundabout. And we're going to try to give it a bit more gas to find the moment when the car really starts to skid. And we're going to try to work within that range. Accelerate a bit more, accelerate a bit less, Accelerate a bit more, accelerate a bit less. I recommend you do this because it will really teach you two things. To be gradual with the accelerator when speeding up, but also when easing off the acceleration. Because if you press too hard all at once, or if you suddenly let go of the accelerator, you risk losing control of your car. So that's what I did. I entered the roundabout to find the exact point the car would lose grip, and that's what I did. So, for quite a while, to really understand and manage the sensitivity of the accelerator, you accelerate a bit, and when it starts to slide, you let off a little, and you keep doing that for a while. So, once you manage to do it, you accelerate, then gently let off the accelerator to make the car slide, and then get the grip back. Normally, we're going to move on to the second step of this. This time, we're really going to try to extend the slide, so for that, we'll do the same thing. Basically, we're going to get onto the roundabout. We're going to try to find the speed at which the car starts to skid and when it starts to skid. Instead of gradually letting off the accelerator so the car comes back and you regain full control, we're going to try to keep accelerating a little bit, gradually adjusting so the car keeps sliding. So, not necessarily by taking a lot of angle at first, but simply by continuing to make it slide gently but surely, to try to go around the roundabout as much as possible. It's fine if you lose grip. With practice, you'll learn when to turn and accelerate your car. And what you'll actually realize by doing this is that, well, you really don't need to press all the way down for your car to start sliding. Sometimes just keeping about the same amount of acceleration that you used to start making the car slide is more than enough to actually keep the drift going. There's no need to go to extremes, as you may have noticed. When my car starts to slide, if I keep my hands on the wheel and lock the steering, that's what happens. The car will always spin out, so I'll show you. It works with any car, any power, any setup. Here, when the car starts to slide, if I make it slide more and keep the steering wheel still, spinning out every time is annoying since that's the hardest part of drifting to master. What you need to understand, and what's a bit counterintuitive, is that when your car starts to slide, you'll want to countersteer just a little, while easing off a bit. Well, your hands on the steering wheel, obviously you're not going to put your hands in your pockets. Simply, instead of keeping your steering wheel stiff and rigid in the direction it's been since the beginning, you'll want to let it slide actually, in your hands. When the car slides, countersteer slightly, then let the steering wheel mostly correct itself. So, here, when the car starts to drift to the left in the other direction, we're going to start countersteering a little to the right. And what we're really trying to do actually, is to find the angle where the car really follows, let's say, the roundness of the roundabout. Once we find the angle, we'll lock it in by holding the steering wheel tighter and maintaining it through the loop. We'll control the car's drift with the accelerator, adjusting speed as needed. Clearly, learning to hold a drift takes time. You're not going to learn how to drift with the steering wheel on Forza Horizon 6 in 5 minutes, not even in 5 hours. I think it'll take you several days, maybe even several weeks to get used to it. But I assure you that this roundabout exercise is really a very good foundation. You'll keep doing this for a while, looking for the moment the car starts to slide so you can countersteer and use the accelerator to extend the slide as much as possible. Just a small drift. Once you master this roundabout, you'll understand when your car slides and when to countersteer to maintain the slide and at what, let's say, level of acceleration you need to press to extend the slide or not. You'll want to use this elsewhere. The roundabout is fun, but only for a few minutes. So you'll want to start sliding around the open world. And what I actually recommend you do is, instead of going straight to the normal map, and maybe struggle a little bit because obviously the roads will be less regular than a nice roundabout that's always round. In the same way, what you're going to do is start drifting by chaining turns together. But you'll be doing it on dirt, gravel, or snow, depending on the season you're in. Simply because on snow, gravel, or dirt, the grip is lower than on asphalt, which means you'll be able to slide your car at much lower speeds with much less power. And on top of that, it will add a kind of lightness to the steering that you won't necessarily get on asphalt. Well, there's a place I definitely recommend for practicing, and that's the little dirt road we're on. Because there are left turns, right turns, there are sequences, there are tighter corners within wider turns. It's really a great training spot, a really good place to get a complete practice. And what I recommend you do to avoid being bothered by the Z's, because sometimes on these roads there are Z's. It can be a bit annoying to have a car or traffic, especially when you're coming out of a corner in a drift. What I recommend you do is go to the creation interface and create a club event. Here, you click create, then track, create, new track, you do, well. Then for the car, you choose the car you want to drift with. So for me, the M5 as always, it will teleport you. Actually, to the same place on the map, but in Event Club mode, and in Event Club, there's no traffic. So, you'll really be able to, well, practice freely, being sure that when you come out of a turn, well, there won't be a car in front of you forcing you to stop your drifts. So, it's a good little training session here. Basically, you should try to do the same thing, actually, as what you did before. You tried to make your car slide a little before the turn by giving it a bit of acceleration, a bit of power. And then, once it's in the turn, well, you're going to start counter-steering just a little bit, and you'll let your car slide by releasing the steering wheel. There's something really important you need to understand when you want to chain drifts in opposite directions. For example, a left turn followed by a right turn. You shouldn't help the steering wheel return to center too much. That's the benefit of force feedback steering wheels. When your car slides and you accelerate, the steering wheel centers itself. See? I didn't touch it, and the car straightened out on its own. The game's physics cause that. It's normal, just like real life. If you help your steering wheel return too much, for example, let's say I'm drifting to the left. Then, if I know there's a right turn coming up, I might help my car straighten out. Sorry, I mean straight. And for that, if I give the steering wheel a big turn to the right, the car will spin out in the opposite direction of the turn you were just in. So, it's really a matter of balance. And it's true. Well, that's the whole difficulty of it. When you slide, when your car starts to slide, you'll need to let go of the steering wheel a little bit. And when, you see, when it straightens out, give it a simple little turn of the steering wheel, just a tiny one, with just a bit of force to start initiating the drift in the other direction, into the next turn. Once you've managed to link two turns, one to the left, one to the right, or vice versa, well, normally, you'll be able to drift through all the turns because after that, it's just about adding another turn. You see what I mean? Once you have the basics for one or two turns in a row, well, normally, there's no more limit. After that, you'll really be able to start enjoying the game, and that's when, let's say, you'll really get to the motivating part. When you start sliding your car well in the game, even if you're still learning. Sometimes you make mistakes, you might lose a bit of control, you do some donuts, it happens, you spin out. Well, once you start to get the hang of it after that, it's just pure fun actually, and it's really motivating to see some results. You'll want to keep getting better and you'll really be able to, well, make some good shots. Cruising around, drifting on the map, in the game, with pretty much any car and just having a blast. Once you've managed to drift well on dirt and you really have good control, normally, it shouldn't be much harder than that to drift on asphalt. Basically, nothing changes except you'll get slightly more grip. You'll need more powerful cars for the same drifting feel. Or maybe switch to a 700 or 800 horsepower car or a slightly lighter car, or a car with some tweaked settings, just to get back that light drifting feel. But overall, once you've got the hang of it on dirt, normally there shouldn't be any trouble applying it on tarmac. I practiced extensively in this area, using the drag strip in the map south because it has no buildings or turns. And what I tried to do at first was simply to chain left and right turns while trying to keep the car's clip. Go ahead and chain them together like that. Do U-turns. Do 360s to really try to master the car and get through. Let's say from a dirt feeling to a tarmac feeling. And what's nice is that right next to it, once we've gotten back a bit of that sliding feeling we had on dirt, but on tarmac, well, just next to it, there's the rocket launch site that. It's really cool for learning how to drift, because here, there are no NPCs. There are other players who also come to practice drifting, but there aren't any. There's no collision since it's ghost mode, so you can tandem safely. That's pretty cool. What's great is we have many turns of various sizes going in all directions. There's camber, basically slopes, and also slopes in the turns, for example. Turns that are more or less tight, turns that are more or less fast. So it's actually a great little place to come and practice drifting, simply on Forza Horizon 6. So here, you'll notice that we've only talked about regular drifting, we haven't talked about handbrake drifting. Like I said, I'll cover that in a second video since it's part of the advanced techniques. But let's say that, clearly, the handbrake, in most cases, won't be used to initiate your drift. It can give you a little boost, and that's where the handbrake is really useful. And we'll talk more about that in the second video. It's that, it can allow you to extend the drift between two corners without, losing too much speed and without having to change the angle of the car too much. But that's something we'll talk about in another video, because I think I don't want to lose you with things that won't help you drift at the beginning of the game, simply because later on it allows you to do nicer drifts. You see what I mean? So now, normally, you have a good little foundation. Honestly, those are the first steps. For me, that's it. It's the roundabout to learn how to properly control the car's accelerator, to really feel when the car starts to slide, both in terms of steering and visually, learning to properly control the accelerator. To accelerate a little bit, if needed, or to decelerate just a little bit. Manage your sensitivity well to prolong the slide, to increase it, or to reduce it. Then manage the steering. There you go. Get used to letting the steering wheel do what it wants a little, but not too much either. That's it. Find the right balance. Don't grip the wheel too tightly so you don't force a direction. Let the car move, and then manage the force feedback well. Just let the wheel slide between your hands and then, well, that's it, simply. Mix these exercises up a bit and practice on turns. Turns that will follow one another in different directions. And there you go. Also understand the timing of when to turn, when to accelerate. At this point, you have a good foundation to practice on your own without getting too frustrated. If you have other questions or tips, once again, leave them in the comments. It will definitely be useful for upcoming videos. In any case, I hope this little video has given you a bit of a boost. By the way, I have some good news. Next week, I'm going to give away a steering wheel. It will be live on Twitch if you're looking to get a free steering wheel to start drifting with a wheel on Forza Horizon 6. It could be a good opportunity, so follow me on Twitch. That way, as soon as the stream starts, you'll get notified. Feel free to use your Prime to support my Twitch channel. And don't forget that in this video, you can find my instant gaming link, which lets you buy your games cheaper than anywhere else. Thanks for supporting my channel. I'll end the video here. See you soon, ciao.